Game resumed.
Alrighty, welcome back, and we are into our next game, the ace match between the University of Chicago versus the University of Washington, spawning down in the bottom right as our wonderful yellow Terran player. It is Kawaii Rice, representing his home University of Washington. Their opponent over on the bottom left as our purple Zerg player from the University of Chicago, Glad. I actually really like this choice to put a Zerg up against a Terran.
Well, I mean, if Chicago wins, they're going to have to be really glad that they put him out there.
Oh!
Yeah, you need to be like Martos for like the lame jokes. Oh, that's funny, Cheesehead. Hell, you're hilarious or whatever there. Yeah, and I bet Washington's like, yeah, we're gonna be glad when we put Kawaii Rice, our professional player, out. Cheesehead. That's hilarious too, man.
I don't know. I think it's kind of I really like the fact that it chose ZVT. Well, I guess they didn't know that Glad was going to be coming out, but they'd probably assume it was Glad, considering Glad did the best. Well, won his game.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, he won his game. Yeah.
Well, I think
So
again, we haven't seen really a lot of Chicago again this season. Last season, they got into the playoffs. They did okay. They didn't really get too far, but from what I do remember, Glad was one of their top players, as we mentioned earlier. So it's good to see that hopefully he's going to be able to put up a fight against Kawaii, and especially from what we've seen out of Kawaii, unless you're Masan, who's the only person that I know that's beat him in TVZ, at least in CSL, I feel as though it's going to be a really uphill battle for any of the Zergs. But who knows, man? With this type of map, we could see anything.
yeah, the thing I like about this map, I suppose, for TVZ, is if you do go into that Mutalist, you just have control of all of this airspace. Have all the airspaces. Like, what more could you want?
A win. And
Okay,
$1 million. And a GSL title. Come on, man.
Wow.
Who doesn't want a GSL title? Come on, man. I want a GSL title. But the problem is I'm going to have to face life, of course, man. That guy's just... That guy's a hacker, right? I mean, he's just imbalanced.
Oh, Rain? Did Rain get taken out yesterday? I can't remember. He was playing pretty...
Spoilers aside, I think...
Oh, right. I can't remember who. Well, we won't say. For the
oh, yeah,
second.
I'm not going to spoil it, but it was pretty damn awesome last night.
Yeah, it was. It was really... Actually, yeah. There was... Oh, okay, we can't talk about it. It's fine. I really want to talk about it, but we obviously can't spoil it too much for chat.
Yeah, sorry guys. We're a non-spoiler association here in the CSL.
Daniel's like freaking out in chat. It's awesome.
He's like, don't tell them. Everybody's got to go watch the GSL right now. Just like nobody go look at the C-Star League website either. You guys are gonna find out too much. You guys are gonna be well informed. That's like the only time we're like not about like just logic of being well informed. We're just like no, don't go look at it, don't go learn about it. You guys don't need to know about it. All right.
So good. Anyway, he brought the SCV, so maybe he was contemplating going for a bunker rush. Had there obviously been a third base down for Zerg, but Zerg playing it pretty safe.
Yeah, nothing
Is that
really
triple
too
CC?
crazy. Yep, triple CC. This is actually very standard out of a Terran player right now with just Widow Mines and everything that a Terran is capable of. Terrans overall, just in general, feel very comfortable about taking thirds really quick. Now, you usually do see them come down at 530. This is a very fast third CC. But at the same time, it looks like Kawaii is in the kind of the mindset where he's going to do a lot of pressure. It looks like he's got some of the Marines trying to trail some of these links in the middle of the map. But basically what this is going to set up for is he's going to be able to not only wall off this completely, but just consistently reinforce and send Marines across the map to do some sort of pressure and harass. Now, what is exactly Glad decides to do? He has no gas right now, which is kind of scary because at this point, if you have no gas at all, you're basically giving me a tell that you're going to go for a quick third base, and when there's just constant Marines streaming down the field, that could be a little bit of a problem. But look at that, man. First and second gas getting taken into natural.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of surprised. I was just looking at the gases myself then. He didn't have either of them taken. So obviously that quick muta tech wasn't on the cards, and he was trying to get that saturation going, I guess, and he's able to do that with the extra minerals he would have by just spending it. 2 queens, is that going to be enough to hold, though?
3 queens should. There we go.
You
have to just back up.
Both queens back.
As long as he just micros the injured one back. He's got to be careful. He shouldn't even lose one of them if he micros this carefully. And there we go. Beautiful job. And now can even chase some of the Marines off the creep. So good work right there by Glad. Not losing a queen. Being very efficient, and as soon as he just pushed those Marines back, he takes a third. This is actually really, really well timed right now by Glad.
You know what? I think this is a really nice move by Kawaii, to be honest. This is going to sound a little weird, but he's made Glad take this forward base as opposed to taking, the top left one, which normally is what you would like to be more comfortable doing as a Zerg, expanding away from your enemy. So I'm curious as to how it's going to play out.
Well, I mean, at the same time, you got to look at with Terrans right now with the medevac boost capability and their ability just in general to drop and do damage that way, you might want to keep your bases really close. That way you don't have to spread yourself too thin in different areas and different locations of the map. That way you have your defense, and if he drops within the main, you could just go right up there and then just travel right back down to the third if there's another ball of pressure that comes forward there. So I think this might be more of a defensive move versus just a general macro type of style. And this is what I was talking about. Look at this. He's going to send a nice little pack of Marines, and I'm not sure if this is actually going to be able to be held off. This amount of Lings and this amount of Queens should not be able to.
Yeah, I mean, he has got a Roach Warren on the way, but it is still, 15 seconds off from completing.
Yeah, and then plus all the
Did he get vision? He should be able to get vision of it, but I don't know if it's going to be in time for him to finish off that Roach Warren. He has got +1 attack also coming out. And he is going to... Is he switching? He's a little bit supply handicapped, I suppose. Like, he couldn't really... He had to expand it a little bit there, putting an additional overload if he is going to try and get up.
This is so brutal right now, and he's going to lose a couple drones as well. Not only the Hatcher, but a couple drones. He's going to be probably lose the gases, and oh my god, Glad, what are you doing? Get those drones back home, man. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, man. Well, Hatcher gets sacked down. That's not good. That's not good for any Zerg at all. Now
and the Roach Warren's in the front.
Oh, that's rough. And now at this point, he's just going to micro and trade as efficiently as he can against all the units. And this is a lot of DPS. You better have heals, but thank goodness if a lot of Lings came out to try to help out. But really beautiful micro from Kawaii Rice, trying to find the tightest choke, gets behind that engineering bay, and now even going to focus down some drones that are right next to him. So overall, this did way more damage than it probably even should have. And now Kawaii Rice sitting on triple orbital, triple mule, lots of bio. Now, where is his factory? There it is. Factory just finished up. Getting a second factory as well. I don't know if that was a misclick if he was trying to get a starport, but regardless, I guess he could just utilize it to get more bio mines. Could even use one of them to put a tech lab on it and get the what's called the upgrade, the burrow claws.
This is kind of a dangerous point for Glad as well, because I mean, Glad's gone, okay, cool, look, I lost my third base. So his response automatically is he's going to double expand and try and cover his losses, or basically get owned. So I'm not too sure how it's going to work out. Kawaii's just got a really impenetrable defense here. I guess the orbital is a bit open, but at the same time, with that bunker finishing up, they should be relatively safe.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be fine. I mean, Kawaii right now sitting at 91 supply to the 74 of Glad. Glad basically just trying to do whatever run-by damage he possibly can. Is at this point hoping that he could keep Kawaii on his side of the map. With the double expansion, you're going to not only need to let time for the hatches to actually get up, you're going to need time to get more drones out, to saturate them, and to actually get the use out of them before you could actually count them in any shape, way, or form. So he's really hoping that Kawaii sits back. Now, it's kind of funny looking at this. I feel as though Glad is probably going to invest in a Roach Hydra comp right now with the Hydra's Den. He's getting the 2 Carapace and also the 2 missile, as well as also some additional Roach speed upgrades. So looks like he's going to try his shot at Roach Hydra versus this. I don't know. At first, I don't agree with this, man. I feel like this is going to be way too much bio for Glad to handle.
I think the logic, to my understanding from back from my old days when I used to play Zerg, was that he's trying to go for a slightly more efficient trade. I mean, mutas are great if he can try and camp around the base, but he's not going to be able to go... He's realized, obviously, there's a massive amount of Marines, and that's kind of forcing him to not go into mutas when he realizes, well, he's going to be trading up against this army. If he does have to go in for a frontal engagement that is basically a lot more cost-efficient and a lot cheaper to really mass-produce and keep up with.
Well, I feel as though the problem with that decision, he might want to invest more into. He might have wanted to invest more into Ling Bane versus Roach Hydra. When you play Roach Hydra, you typically need to have be even, or at least have a little bit of a lead in your supply to actually have some kind of a serious advantage. Because at that point, then they can overwhelm. The Roaches can kind of tackle the front of the army. The Hydras help out DPS. They could fire down the medevacs. But when there's just a lot of bio out on the field like this, it's very tough to engage with because the DPS is just way too high to deal with it. Now we'll see if this might be a little bit of a different story. But gotta be careful. Can't let some of these units get caught out in the middle of the map.
I guess he kind of needs the Hydras, but at the same time, Roaches are pretty good at soaking up Marine shots. If he can get that Infestation Pit out, it does give him a shoot. Oh no, Doom Drop coming inside the main as he moves
this should be entertaining.
Hellbat's also just trying to rally across the field as he
There we go.
retreats
The
them.
boost is finishing up, so you should be able to get another boost to get really quicker to the hatch. And look at that boost, man. Such a big difference to get over there that much faster. And will he pull back the whole army? Glad, yes, he is. He's trying to pull back, try to get back as he possibly can. But this is a quadruple medevac drop. This is a lot of DPS. Hydro's dead, getting focused down. That's one production building down. I just try to help out right here, but they're not going to be able to. Spawning pool goes down. Lair's going to go down as well. That's not good. And now Kawhi could basically just get on out of there if he wants to, but it looks like he decides to fight. He's going to trade against that. He knows if I could trade with you now and be able to defend back at home, it's going to be really advantageous for me. I'm ahead in bases. I'm ahead in tech. But will he get out of there? No. Looks like Kawhi clears everything out. But the problem is, again, no spawning pool, no Hydra stand, just a straight Roach Warren right now. And now there's a lot of Marines and Hellbats heading across the map with mines as well.
Oh, does he get the burrow off? No,
that's like as a Terran like that cringe. I'm just like, dude, you got mines burrowed. Just because they're mines doesn't mean they do something if they're not unburrowed. Terran just brings them just to like give like morale like to the bio army. He's just like, yeah, we got bio mines here. We're gonna be fine, guys. It doesn't even matter if they burrow.
And Kawhi getting a little bit overzealous there as it manages to get the hold off for Glad. But I mean, Glad only holding with a handful of units, so even then, not necessarily a strong position to be in.
Well, at this point, there we go. Finally switched over to tech labs on some of these barracks. Finally, Kawhi's going to start adding some Marauders into the mix, and that's going to help out with the Hellbats and the Marines. That's going to be able to sack and kill all the Roaches really, really quick. The problem right now, really, again, we have to keep reiterating for Glad, is he's trying to take a 5th hatch over here. He lost his main one in the main with no lair tech, so he's not able to get his infestation pit out. He's not able to get his hive tech out. He's stuck on 2-2. Meanwhile, Kawhi can just basically seamlessly transition over into 3-3 bio with Marine Marauder medevac and mine as well, and Hellbats. I mean, just the full onset Terran composition, and now he's on a total of 5 base and actually mining from all of them as well. So that's a really problematic situation, especially with Kawhi getting closer and closer to his max out.
He was fortunate enough. I think he did finish the infestation pit just inside his natural, so he is now trying to get those pathogen glands going, which is really great to see. Another drop heading up towards the north base. There is some Zerg units to intercept. Unfortunately, their Queen's moving off creepers. Now they change direction, but one gets taken out. That's going to be really happy with that full medevac. A second drop now taking place inside the main as well. Looks like this one was just being used as a distraction.
I'm actually like wondering. I'm like talking to myself. I'm like, could this game actually somehow go longer? Is there a way where somehow Kawhi just doesn't do damage right now, or Glad holds enough of it off where he can come back somehow, get his hive up, get the ultras? I just don't know if he's got enough time.
I guess it's 10 worker difference, so it's not like, even though we're talking about it's a massive tech difference because it's what 3-3 up against 2-2 at this stage. He can still definitely come back. I mean, Kawhi's drops are being annoying, but at this stage he's still just using pretty much mainly Marine Marauder up against Roach Hydra, which, I mean, yeah, it works well, but it's not going the best for him at this stage.
Yeah, and there we go. Looking at Kawhi's army, it looks like he's about maxed out, sitting at 196 supply, has a good composition of Marine Marauder, Hellbat Bio, Medevac, and now he's going to just push on forward. At this point, I feel as though an A move just from Kawhi Rice will be more than enough to fire and raid, especially with 3-3 upgrades just about to finish up. His economy going really crazy. He's got a couple extra orbitals within the main, aside to his 5 bases already out on the map. And even adding a couple additional more, man, just going into complete macro mode. Kawhi going full monster, and here we go. Engagement coming up here, getting wary of the Widow Mines. Glad backs up. He does own Infestors, though. That could be something I could change.
The Infestors are really the only thing, the thing that needs to basically do their job to keep everyone alive and keep everything happening. But really nice splits happening already from Kawhi Rice as he's just multi-prong attacks.
And this is actually really nice. He's baiting Kawhi right in, trying to bunch up all of his units as we see one really, really nice fungal. And there we go. If you could get a couple more on. The hard part already is we see one fungal not able to connect. And that's probably the biggest challenge for a lot of the Zergs right now, is adjusting to that infestor with actually having to throw the fungal. It does take a little bit of extra time to actually land on the units, which allows Terrans to either run out, micro out of the way. But looking at all these units, there's a lot in red and orange HP, man. If he engages this or has one fungal capable to use, does he? Come on, Glad, come on, man! Oh, he throws it on some of the back units, and oh my god, Kawhi is going to be able to probably maybe push this in, but look at this, Glad holding on. He's actually taking a supply lead right now, 177 to 178. Oh, there we go, just finally Kawhi caught up. Could this actually
Yeah.
happen, man? Do you believe in miracles?
Whoa.
Do you believe in widow mines? I
Oh,
believe in widow mines, man. That's what I believe in.
holy. But unfortunately, I mean, I guess the one good thing he's got really working for him at this stage is the fact that Widow Mines don't yet have tunneling claws happening, so those more quick attacks aren't really doing as much. One more Infestor. He needs to keep these Infestors alive, otherwise it's going to be the game.
Yeah. He tries to throw down Fungal. Good job, Kawhi, keeping some of the units in the back now going forward. It doesn't look like those Infestors have enough energy, or he maybe forgot about them. He needs to get those Infestors right on out of there before they lose their life. Actually, Glad is playing really, really well. Now he's got his 5th base up. He's got Hive finished up. Does he have an Ultralisk Cavern anywhere? Do you see it? Do we see it? No, it doesn't look like it. So this is kind of the problem with Zergs right now. Typically, dealing with like a Terran army is the Zerg has to worry about getting their defenses out, get actual units out, versus kind of being a little bit extra greedy or able to be more comfortable getting their tech pass, such as upgrades, such as additional structures that allow them to produce. Oh my God, the Widow Mine! That Widow Mine! Only taking down one Roach, thankfully, and that that triggers an observer to be made. I think that's a good decision by Glad.
The big problem, I suppose, is the fact that Kauai is now banking 4,000 minerals. So the moment he loses that army, he just builds another one straight away and almost instantly catches up on supply. So he's just going to maybe try and... Like, ideally, he would want to try and last the Zerg out, but given the fact that Zerg has now been able to take all these bases, it's going to be incredibly difficult. Drop now heading over to the north base. The army is relatively poised to be able to respond, but I don't know if they'll be able to get there in time. One medevac does go down. A lot of marauders.
Yeah, and at this point he's just focusing down the hatch, but I think with the Zerg army he's going to be able to get there just in time to be able to defend it, and I like that. Fortunately for him, he did have the Spore Crawler, and one of the medevacs was in very, very low HP health. Now, he's got to get back over to the other side and not let Kauai get too good of a position right here as he comes to the front, already starting to burrow some of the Widow Mines forward, getting a really nice position, and basically at this point has a nice Widow Mine wall. Third gets focused down, one Infestor kind of left to the open, and Widow Mine decides to hack it off. Ro8 are coming on forward with the Queens as well on the backside, transfusing, trying to deal as much damage as they possibly can. He's got to be a little bit careful, getting very close to some of those Widow Mines, and actually able to knock them down before they actually detonate on him. Not bad, man. Good defense. So you gotta give props to Glad, but also dropping the main, which is gonna focus down the Ultralisk Cavern. Probably the one hope that maybe Glad had in this game.
Yeah, I mean, like, ooh, another drop. At least this time he didn't get the lair. Because the lair tech has obviously been moved over to the natural. It does clean up most of it, but nothing really happening inside the main. There is a little bit of minerals, which is kind of a nice choice, because in the situation that he needs to rally some drones back, he has that as an option. One marine scaring hundreds and hundreds of drones.
I know, right?
Queen's also being really strong. The really nice thing is if when he does eventually get that opportunity to switch into Ultralisk tech, he is going to be pretty much snowballing. Like, it's going to be difficult for Kauai to max out quick enough.
Well, the problem right here, I think, is going to be Kauai. He's basically has the death push for himself right now. He was able to take down that far 5th hatch. He was able to take down the 3rd hatch as well. The main's basically all gone. The Ultralisk Cavern got shot down as well. The Hive is still there, so he could rebuild the Ultralisk Cavern, but the problem is he just doesn't have an economy to actually get up to that tech once again. And I mean, especially investing into those hatches again, investing into new units for defenses as well. He's got to be careful though. Kauai, again, with the fungals, they do pose a very, very large threat to him. So I guess at this point, Glad is just kind of biding his time. But with the Terran medevac boost, he might be able to just continue dropping, continue harassing him in different locations, and eventually string this game out to a point where Glad actually bleeds out.
Yeah, I kind of... I think just a single siege tank right now would be so crazy. Top base gets taken out yet again, yeah. So Kauai's strategy at this point is just to deny bases. And that's just deny base and constantly push, constantly trading his army, knowing the fact that he has an additional base supply so he can just keep doing it. He has more minerals in the bank. And eventually it's just going to break the Zerg.
Oh,
The
look at
Zerg's
this
just
beautiful
knocked out of
concave
impact.
for Kauai right here over at the top. And now as he's streaming some of the units back over into the natural, man, this is so sick. Good play by Kauai. Unfortunately, actually, I got to give huge props to Glad. Huge props to him, man. As he calls the GG for sticking out in this game, trying to fight back as much as he possibly could. And Kauai, you know, he was kind of starting to get down into the lower 1000s of his mineral count. So if he was able to continue trading over and over again and somehow get to ultras, that might have been a completely different story for him. But
Yeah.
big ups and congratulations 2 are winners. University of Washington 3-2. They're going to be moving on to the round of 4. So shout out to the Huskies. Good work, guys. Good clutch by Kawhi and Caliber as well. Very entertaining games to watch. We're going to be moving on to our second series of the evening, guys, today. So don't go anywhere. That is Ohio State and Maryland College Park, right?
Yes, it is.
Yay! Woo! All right. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back, guys.